Some of the charges were true. Some of the charges were true. Some were not. So I'm reading from a book called Dirty Little Secrets. I'm going to start on page 162, and I'm going to actually and there's something here that's titled "The Truth About Grant." So this is the truth about, I guess, Ulysses S. Grant. Maybe I have not read this yet, but I'm going to just read it, and you can make of it what you like. It says, even though he was a modest and self-effacing man, Ulysses S. Grant of the Union Army generated a lot of gossip. Rumors charged Grant with being an anti-Semitic drunkard and slaveholder who used the government for nepotism. Some of the charges were true. Some of the charges were true, some were not. It is true that in 1862, he ordered all Jews expelled from the U.S. Department of the Treasury within 24 hours for, quote, violating every regulation of trade and department orders, end quote. It was true that he used the government to bestow favors on his own family. He gave federal positions to 13 members of his family. Sounds like another guy we know, right? It says here, in racial matters, another accusation was true. Grant, Ulysses S. Grant, here, these are your allies now, so let's see where this goes. Grant was a slaveholder who had voted for the Southern Democratic ticket and was married to a pro-Southern family. Married into a pro-Southern family. In 1858, General Grant bought a mulatto slave, William Jones, 35 years of age, but gave him his freedom a year later, even though he could have sold Jones and recaptured his investment. Okay. Although guilty on all three counts, General Grant did demonstrate concern for the humanity of black people and personally rejected their enslavement. So it sounds like what he's saying, he's given sort of a nuanced portrayal of Ulysses as, I don't see him as a hero or a savior. I don't see him as a hater of black people or as a lover of black people. But he does sound like a guy who didn't just go along with the okie doke. And for that, I give him some credit. I mean, he let the brother have his freedom. He could have kept him and sold him. So I give him credit for that. But the fact that he was so tolerant of slavery within his own family and kind of let certain things happen, you can decide how you feel about that. I know, for example, if you were doing something that I found to be egregious, like enslaving another human being, I personally wouldn't stand for that, but I didn't live during those times, and I wasn't a white man in those times. So I kind of put slavery up there with harming a child. And so even though you could say you might want to call him good white folks because he wasn't as evil as the rest of them, I don't really consider him to necessarily be good. But at the same time, it sounds like he was at least trying to grapple with what was the truth at the time, which was that you shouldn't be enslaving other people.